This video is sponsored by Typeless. The link is in the description, and if you sign up through it, you'll automatically get a $5 credit on the desktop version. Worth knowing before we get into it. You're typing into Claude, you misspell a word, you stop to fix it, and by the time you're done, the thought is gone. That's the actual problem. Typing filters your thinking before it reaches the AI. When you type, Claude gets the short version. When you speak, it gets the full one. And the difference in what comes back is noticeable. After 20 years of teaching people to communicate complex ideas clearly and hundreds of hours of testing AI in professional settings, I've come to one consistent conclusion. The quality of what comes out is almost always a reflection of the quality of what goes in. I use Claude Cowork every day. For a long time, I typed everything. What I was sending was fine, but fine is not the same as full. When I started speaking my prompts with Typeless instead, what Claude was receiving was longer, more contextual, and much closer to how I actually think. The responses got noticeably better because what I was giving it changed. Typeless is an AI voice dictation app. You speak naturally, and it converts your words into clean, formatted text wherever your cursor is sitting. It works on Mac and Windows on the desktop, and on iOS and Android on your phone. That matters because the problem I'm describing does not only happen at your computer. It happens every time you're trying to write something real. An email on your phone, a note in a meeting, a message you keep starting and deleting because the right words are not coming. You know, before we get into the features, I just have to tell you what I really love about this. All I have to do is press this key, speak for as long as I want, press it again, and my words land clean in whatever text field my cursor is sitting in. No clicking around, no switching apps, no recording interface to deal with. Just press, talk, press. That's it. Let me show you what it actually does because there are a few things definitely worth seeing. The first thing you notice is that it removes filler words automatically. You don't have to speak perfectly. Say or change your mind in mid-sentence, and Typeless cleans it up before it hits the page. What lands in the text field is already clean.
Here's an example. Okay, so let's go through my strategy, actually my files first, and see what we can improve. I want maybe a more solid strategy to accomplish my goals. And you can see the filler words have been removed and the sentences look clean. It also auto-formats. If you're writing an email, it formats it like an email. If you're speaking a list, it turns it into a list. You don't have to tell it what you're doing. It reads the context and formats accordingly. Hey, John. Okay, let's get together sometime soon. This Monday, how about this Tuesday at 2 or 3, maybe 3 o'clock's best. And I'll bring over the files so we can get this stuff done. Thanks, Cal. As you can see, everything worked perfectly in email format. Okay, so the interview should cover 10 areas. First, my background and career path, then what I actually do day to day, the vocabulary list from my field, how I communicate, actually my style and preferences, where my time goes during the day, what I've tried with AI so far, what I want AI to help with, how I think through problems, how I want Claude to respond to me, And the last one should be the tools I use every day. Okay, that's the interview process if I want a good Claude.md file. Look at that, perfectly listed and in order. And there is one more thing I use regularly. If you're in an office or somewhere you simply can't speak at full volume, there's a whisper mode. You can speak almost silently and it still picks up accurately. I've personally used this in coffee shops, the subway, and just about anywhere there's a crowd. Here's what this looks like on desktop. Okay, so I want to build something that keeps me on track with my overall business strategy, like a checklist I can actually check off as I go. And let's break it into phases. Actually, phases with dates attached. So like phase 1, phase 2, and so on. Each with a time frame and I guess a focus. And I want maybe a gate at the top before the price increase on my kit. So I can't raise the price until certain things are completed. Each phase will probably have specific tasks, not vague stuff, actually things I can check off. And I want an overall progress tracker at the top too, so I can see how many I've completed out of the total. Basically, I want this to live as something I can open and update as I go ahead or as I go instead of a doc that just sits there.
What you're seeing is not a transcription. Typeless understood what I meant, removed the noise, and gave Claude something complete and structured to work with. And that matters because Claude's response is only as good as what I give it. When I speak, I naturally provide more context, more detail, and more of what I actually mean than I ever would by typing. What just came back from Claude reflects that. This is what Typeless calls voice prompting. And once I saw the difference in the output, it was hard to go back to typed prompts. Now on mobile.
Can you confirm the deadlines? Wait a minute, for a sec. Thanks for forwarding this email to me. Can you confirm the deadline for grade submission? I just want to make sure I've got it right before I move forward.
What I want to point out here is that even when I changed direction mid-sentence, it still captured exactly what I meant. And because there was an existing thread, it read that context automatically. The greeting and the sign-off were already there. I didn't add those. Typeless pulled them from the conversation. Before I show you one more thing worth knowing and how this fits in a real working day, if you found this video helpful, give it a like or comment. It really does help this channel. Also, if you want to see more content just like this, hit subscribe. Typeless works across every app where you're writing: Gmail, Google Docs, Notion, Slack, anywhere your cursor is, every app, every text field. Same 2 keystrokes. At some point you realize there's not much left that actually requires you to type. It doesn't supplement your keyboard, it replaces it. And when the mechanics are gone, your full attention goes back to the thought. Whether that's a prompt for Claude, a client email, or a document you've been putting off. I have been using Typeless for a while now, and honestly, I use it several times a day, and it's become a genuine part of how I work. The link is in the description below. Think about how much you type in a day. Now think about how much of that you could just say instead. Most people who switch to speaking realize fairly quickly that they were leaving a lot out when they were typing. Not because they were doing anything wrong, but because typing filters your thinking before it even reaches the page. Once you've seen what you get when you give AI the full thought, it's hard to go back to giving it half of one. If you want to try it, comment Typeless below and I'll reply with the link directly. Now you know how to get your thoughts into AI the best way. But the next step is making sure it knows enough about you to actually help. The experts say just complain to it and let it interview you. Watch this video next to see exactly how to do it.